Okay, well then let's move on to this proposed rule, and let's kind of talk through this, proposed rule to strengthen and modernize AML CFT programs. And I mentioned it in the previous webinar that we have, but this is the first major update. It's setting the stage for more changes consistent with that AML legislation that's coming out. If you remember, Dodd-Frank, that's the gift that keeps on giving, right? That law is decades old, and or at least over a decade old, and we are still getting rulemakings out of Dodd-Frank. That is similar to what this AML reform is going to look like. And this is kind of the first setting the stage rulemaking. So and I want you to keep in the back of your mind, because you might have read through this rule already, and you might have walked away from it thinking, you know what, Kevin, we already do this stuff. This is we have effective risk-based, reasonably designed programs. So what's the big deal? Well, that part of it is that there's a lot of financial institutions that haven't been through rigorous testing, and haven't gotten the feedback that you have from examiners for years and years and years, right? So there's a lot of financial, they want to make sure that everybody's on the same page of what the requirements are. Okay, so part of it is that. And then part of it is to nail down some of these concepts that were in our guidance or they were in our exam manuals, but they weren't actually written into the law. If you look at the Bank Secrecy Act, there's nothing that says your program needs to be risk-based. There's nothing that says it has to be effective. That's all in our guidance. Okay, so if you were, let's say you were a non-bank financial institution and you had the federal government coming down and breathing down your neck and saying, well, you didn't have this program in place, and you turn around and you say, wait a minute, where in the law does it say that, I mean, I have to have a BSA program? Where does it say that it has to be risk-based? Where does it say that it has to be effective? And so rather than fighting that out, they've changed the rules now, and they want to bring the law, kind of up to speed. That's why it's modernizing it. And so now it's going to be written right in the law that it has to be effective, risk-based, and reasonably designed. And then so that's now there's no second guessing what the responsibilities are. Let's pause there, though. What is an effective program? And this is probably the term that gave me the most pause when I was reading through this. What is effective? Does this mean that if you have a failing on your program for whatever reason, they're going to turn around and say, well, because you missed X, Y, or Z, you didn't have an effective program? I'm a little worried about that term, because it kind of seems like Monday morning quarterbacking to me, where let's say you do have something that you've missed, and maybe your program was great, and right up until the examiner found this problem, everything seemed effective. How are you supposed to know? So that's my concern with this effective program. How are they going to interpret that? Okay, so that's, I would say, as far as the moving pieces go, that one's a little problematic for me, but we'll just have to keep an eye out for how exactly they interpret that.